So for those that didn't see today, there was three main rockets is what I want to call them. DJT was one of them. This stock surged 18.4% today, pretty much 18.5, and then an additional 4.6% after market hours for a whopping almost like 23% on the day. But it wasn't the only one that was surging. And you guys can feel free to let me know down in the comment section what stock gapped up in your watch list. But also Peloton. Peloton went up 9.98% during normal trading hours and an additional 3.1% after market hours. And then Coinbase, obviously, when crypto begins to rally, Coinbase also follows in its footsteps. Coinbase 11.3% today with an additional 11 or 1.7% for a total of pretty much, what do we want to call that, 13% on the day. If we look at this on the 4-hour time frame, the one thing that I want to remind you is that remember to not allow one day to define if you buy and hold or make an impulsive decision that you might later end up regretting. And what I want to get to is not just with Coinbase and Peloton, because those seem to be a little bit more hyped up, but as well as DJT. DJT actually shared some news today that was driving the price higher for longer. And this happens. This happens very often with DJT when it rallies, but guess what always happens? It crashes. It rallies, it crashes. It rallies, it crashes, it rallies, it crashes. It rallies, and then it goes through these very aggressive, selling pressures. Now, the thing that was shared today is that Trump media stock surges as election betting odds shift. Pretty good news, right? For those that do not know, DJT is known as Truth Social. It's actually a social media application or technology company, if you want to call it that. But it also launched its streaming site today. I think it's called Truth Plus or something like that, which again, they're going to be testing on a separate platform, but it's pretty much a streaming service. So again, maybe another potential way to try to monetize. I don't really know the edge with that, but again, anything to drive demand. The way that I view DJT stock, and please, that is just 100% my opinion, but the way that I view DJT stock is just the way to kind of determine if Trump is winning in the polls or not. That's really how I see it. If he's having a pretty crappy month in the polls, we'll see that being reflected most likely with DJT stock. When it comes down, if he's performing exceptionally well, and or if there's any significant news of him potentially getting better odds to win this presidential election, you will see DJT stock just naturally begin to rise, which I think is very, very unique. We've never had anything like that for a presidential candidate, and this is something I'm definitely paying very close attention to. And again, my opinion only. I don't view DJT stock to be a fundamentally good company. If anything, look at the financials. It's a shitty company. Like, it is truly a crappy company. It's not worth $6 billion. Look at any other $6 billion company and what it produces in revenue versus what DJT stock produces in revenue. It's all hype. It's simply, I would say, a tool to be able to have a better understanding of how Donald Trump is doing in the polls. And don't get me wrong, right? There's a lot of money to be made in that, especially for those that are able to make money off of the upswings. But please understand, based off of its history, there is always a time that it ends up correcting itself. Again, it's really cool to be able to see the rally and the money that has been made. But remember, it's not your money until you lock it in. If you think that it's going to go to $40 or $50, again, I wish you nothing but the best. Your trade plan is not mine. Mine is not yours. I'm just here to remind you that, again, it is a very volatile stock, and it tends to, based off of its history, this is not an opinion, it is a fact. It tends to correct itself. It is not a maybe it has in the past before. It does it every single time. Now, of course, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't always have to. So you guys let me know down in the comment section. The reason I'm talking about this is because the more it rallies and the more overbought it becomes, they call it the slingshot effect. It becomes so overbought and so overextended that it's kind of like a slingshot that at one point the hype is going to peak. Everyone's going to see that, oh my God, we inflated the price of this stock that was previously $11 all the way up to 3x or 4x because we don't know when it's going to stop. And then it aggressively corrects itself. make sure you do not put yourself in a position that you simply cannot tolerate. Make your money, right? If you want to continue to hold, but just understand the risk that it comes with holding a type of stock like DJT. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Congratulations to all of you guys that have killed it. We'll see if the hype continues into the week and how the markets continue to rally, not only with this, but overall NASDAQ market was incredibly bullish today, but it kind of plateaued into the later hours where we really weren't showing much progress. We'll see if that continues or if we begin to see signs of a potential reversal, which again, we'll cover in our live trading session. I hope to see you there. If you guys ever want to tune on in to my live session, I'm there right at market open. It's a great experience for beginners. And whenever you're ready to tune on in, it's the second link in the description down below. Hope that earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.